On this session you join me at a perfect little holiday cottage in Staffordshire. This is the cottage that we stayed in. I believe there are 3 on site that you can book. The lake is actually visible from the living room of the cottage, so it's great for families. There's ample space in the gardens to run around in, and at the bottom of the hill at the back is the lake with the larger carp. We had a couple of days here and I did spend the first day fishing for the bigger carp. However, it was very silty and snaggy and the fish just weren't interested in feeding. We had horrible easterly winds the whole time. To make the most of the time here, I decided to fish the top lake. The owners didn't really know what was in here, so I was going to try and find out for them. My intention was to try and catch fish on a few different methods, and I started out by feeding bread in the margins for something off the top. The first carp, despite not being massive, was too smart for me and took the bait and spat the hook. Knowing I would get more chances, I repositioned the bait by hand and stood next to the rod in expectation. Having the line over the reeds, I was able to watch for the edge of the float just lifting up, knowing that the fish was attached. I chose to fish a nice old quill float as I didn't have to be too delicate on this session. Having already had one off the top, I chose to fish corn on the bottom, still float fishing. Despite the freezing wind, it only took about 10 minutes to get the carp feeding again and I was soon into another one. Next up was the one I was most looking forward to, the swing tip. This particular one is a midi screw-in tip. I had this going into my old Cunnan rod. Cunnan made some really classic rods, but from what I know, the factory burnt down in the 90s and was never rebuilt. To continue the theme of classic tackle, I was using my Marco Cortese centerpin reel. As you'll be able to see from the footage, despite the really heavy winds, there's no mistake in the bites using these swing tips. It's quite rare that I just go back to basics and enjoy my fishing. This really was a lovely place to spend a couple of days. The large building on the left is actually an indoor swimming pool, another fantastic feature of this place. The pool is free for guests to use, but from what I understand, people can book to come and just swim. If you wanted to just unwind, there's a steam room, a sauna and a jacuzzi all inside. On the fishing side of things, I caught some stunning fish, nothing very big, but really enjoyable to catch. These were by no means the biggest 2 fish, but they were probably the best looking ones. The venue is called White Chimnies. I'll leave the link in the description. As I say, there were some fairly decent sized carp in the lake at the bottom, but if you do just want a relaxing few days away with fishing on site, I can highly recommend this place.